Not just the mercy watchers, but everybody. Hi, everybody. Today we are at the Duc In Altum Conference. It's a high school network for Catholic high schools, and I'm talking with Kate Sell from Mission Partners. So hi, Kate. Welcome.
It is wonderful to be here.
Yeah, I'm so glad we get a chance to visit. So why don't you tell our viewers a little bit about you and the work that you do?
Well, first and foremost, I'm a mom and a wife of 5 kids. And their formation is really the most important thing. And for my husband and for myself, we took a baptismal promise for their soul, and we take that very seriously. And then on my sort of day job, I work with the church in many capacities, everything from bishops and parishes and dioceses, but a lot with Catholic schools and apostolates and ministries, just to help them live their best, bring their missions forward. My mantra, particularly at this time in the church, is where sin abounds, grace abounds more. And I really believe at a time maybe in our history in the church where people might be focusing on some of the darkness that's there, that we should be expecting not just graces, but more graces, because that's what St. Paul says. Abundant graces. And I think the schools that are represented at this conference are really a representation of some of those bright lights of grace that we're beginning to see in the church.
Great. So let's talk a little bit about your own vocation as formator of your children, right? And what these schools here at this conference are doing, sort of like Catholic education, and what comes next.
As a parent, and we have children at this point, ages 22 to 11, which really ages me at this point. We, from the very beginning, wanted to make sure that they had a Catholic education that wasn't just catechetical, but that they could experience really the abundance of Catholic life. And we were very blessed to have a school where we lived at the time. It had a lot of clergy on campus. It had a big, sort of joyful, happy Catholic community. Of families who were living the faith and role modeling that. And so we look back over 15 years or 20 years of being a part of that community and realizing the extent that it affected our own family and built us. But we've seen the fruit that have come from the other families. So in working with the Duc In Altum schools, recognizing that this is a model that's starting to blossom all over the country, that families are not living in isolation, but they're coming together, they're living in community, and their lives are changing, and they're changing together. And they're all, I want to say conversion experiences, but they're all learning together what it means to live an authentic life, joyfully, for our Lord and in the church.
So that sounds like, to me, it is just a beautiful Catholic culture. Is that what you're talking about?
You know, it is, and it sounds innovative because, traditionally our schools have been very parochial, which was really based in catechetics, teaching this. But we didn't focus on really understanding not just the gospel, but God's love for each one of us and his individual plan for us, and living a life of love with him in grace. So we had a lot of kids maybe that came through a system that taught them a lot of facts, but they didn't retain or have the opportunity to really meet Christ. So in a lot of these schools, the primary function has been to connect really the family with Jesus Christ. And it's a model that we call or refer to as forming the whole family in the culture that you just talked about. You might have a family for 15 years who are bringing, different kids in different ages. And we have to see Catholic schools today as not just forming the student, but forming the whole family.
Because I've heard that a lot, right? I'm in Catholic education. We talk about forming the whole person. But, when you think about the communio and the domestic church as the family, you're really missing out if you're not attempting to form the whole family, aren't you?
Well, and especially if we recognize who are the parents in our schools today. They're millennials. And millennial parents are getting married later. They're having children later. They come from a very high divorce rate from family of origin. And they're looking for mentorship. And they're coming to Catholic schools, but they may not be coming to the parish. So we have an opportunity to build a relationship with them. I always say where your kid is involved, that parent is involved. So it's kind of a natural built-in audience.
Sure.
They're there for the community. They want the community. A trend in some of the lower schools, K-8 schools, is actually hiring a campus minister, which is sort of unheard of in a lower school. But the campus minister is there to provide that Catholic culture. opportunities for formation, small groups for moms, activities for dads, and activities to bring the families together where they can model for one another what it means to live this. And I think really build up millennial families in a way that they're really seeking.
Well, that sounds beautiful. I am so excited that we get to share this event here, and we get to share it with all of those who are watching. So thank you, Kate. It's been great talking with you. And thank you all for joining us today, and God bless you.